Hi, I'm Marcy McNeil, Digital Media Supervisor for Mobile County Public School System, and we are here, technically speaking, with Ms. Knowles from Mertz Magnet. Hi, Ms. Knowles.
Hello. Very happy to be here.
Now, Ms. Knowles, you have been very prominent on social media, which is why I was like, we've got to have Ms. Knowles on this show because she's been doing a lot of tech speaking lately. Can you tell us what you've been doing?
My class since the beginning of the year has been using lots of different apps like Nearpod and very recently just Seesaw, and then since we've had our time apart, Flipgrid. And they're all, I use them in all different ways. One, I had a teacher ask me like, do you like one more than the other? And I was like, well, it just depends on what I'm trying to get done. So one may be easier to manipulate than the other, but we're mostly using those, not in lieu of paper and pencil and still working on those skills, but Nearpod and Seesaw and Flipgrid are my go-tos as of right now.
What would you suggest for teachers? Because you normally use or integrate technology in your classroom. So what would you suggest to teachers who are like, what else can I do? Where should I start?
It is very overwhelming. And like I said, I am constantly fiddling, I'm constantly playing, and I can't tell you how many times, I'm messaging with my parents and they're like, Miss Knowles, we can't see this video, or Miss Knowles, we can't see this. So it's constant, fixing and critiquing and problem solving with different things. But there are so many webinars online that will teach you from making an account to how to add sticker emojis to your picture or how to add things. I was Googling last night, I was like, how to make a movable background on Seesaw. And I watched this one girl for 5 minutes and I had it. So you just have to you have to become a student yourself. And that's sometimes hard for teachers to sit back in that student role and be the student and then become the teacher for it.
Right. But it's a necessity now because this is how our children are learning. They are digitally minded and this is the way they pay attention. This is what they want. So give them what they want. But I think it also assists you guys because when you first heard the news that you were going to have to teach from home, basically, what were some of the things that you were saying, okay, we've got to have this in place?
There's a million things that we have to have in place. I was trying to make sure I was like, each day I am sending out an email to my parents with a math lesson, a reading lesson, a science lesson, a social studies lesson, your fluency, your sight words, your rhyming. I'm looking at my quarter at a glance and being like, okay, what's relative of what they can actually do at home? Right. So that's been kind of hard. Like I'm not trying to give them a 6-hour day like they would with me, but kind of like mini lessons with things at home. But before we left, I met with my grade level. My grade level is a phenomenal grade level. We see eye to eye. It's taken them a little bit slower to get on the technology train, but now they saw that it was a must. So we did 2 days cram course, got their classes set up, got them logged in, got everything through the county set up. And we also, before we left, set up our Google Classrooms because that's what we're gonna also have to incorporate if we teach at home past April 6th. Right. So there was just a lot of different things that we did, and we're constantly in contact with each other through this time. We message each other daily about, hey, this worked, or try this, and we're sharing things. Sharing is caring. So especially with technology, but stay home.
Exactly. Well, you can't help it when you're at Mertz Magnet with Miss Adams in the lead. You're going to share everything. She has always been about that concept. If it's dealing with one, it's dealing with us all. I know how she is. She's wonderful, and Mertz Magnet is wonderful. So I know you have a great support system.
We're led by the best, and she always tells us it doesn't look good if one's doing really well and the rest of us aren't. We need to all be flying high together. And that was one of the things I think almost my entire school is on Flipgrid now, which Flipgrid is a community builder for us. I'm not posting assignments, but I think today my topic was, tell me your favorite dessert and why, and if you've ever made it. And like the kids can get on there and just see their classmates' videos and leave comments. But I shared that with my school community, and now, all the teachers are being able to see their students who have those capabilities at home. So share. All we can do is continue to share. I'm on the message boards on Facebook that are like, oh, what are these people doing in Indiana? What are they doing in Tennessee? Because, if we don't know, we won't do it. So when we know better, we do better.
Exactly. And you are doing great. And especially talking to your besties is what I know that you call your students. Tell me some of the fun activities that you and your students have done, you and your besties, since you've been out.
Oh, my goodness, they are my besties. I spend all my time with them. My parents think it's hilarious, but I'm like, it's the truth. We are besties. What did we do yesterday? We did a fun cross-curricular activity. I've been doing short mini Nearpod reading comprehension stories. So yesterday they read Pete the Cat and the Cool Caterpillar, and we did 5-question quiz. But then I incorporated going back to this text, and they had to do a seesaw activity where they had to do the life cycle of a butterfly. So it was just kind of, and then they had to talk their way through it. And several of my students I was watching, I'm gonna tweet them out later, several of my students were referring back to the text to talk their way through the life cycle of the butterfly. And I mean, I was just sitting there and I was like, these kids don't need me, they're so smart. I'm just facilitating all of these activities for them to do things. But we're doing fun things like that. We're doing read fluency just to check in. We're writing every day. That's the big core thing at the, fourth quarter for kindergarten. We've built all these skills up, and now I'm like, okay, now you can write independently. And so I'm like, parents, we got to write every day. I know it's going to become monotonous, but their writings are phenomenal. So it's just, and everything's a video, and they love that. They get to see me, I get to see them. So it's been great.
That is great, because I don't think I told everyone you are a kindergarten teacher, but to talk to you, you would think you're teaching 4th or 5th grade. And it's amazing how much they soak up, how much they learn at 5 years old. I mean, this in itself is awesome. And I think if they're not scared to embrace it and use it, we shouldn't be scared to expose them to it.
I 100% agree. When I was thinking about all these ideas, my parents were very receptive to it, and I sent home at the very beginning of the year a Google survey talking about their different devices they had, so I could see what I could incorporate with what my kids have. And luckily we have enough extra devices at school that every kid is one-to-one with a device, because we do participate in BYOD. So my parents, I'll get a wild hair and I'm like, hey, download this app and we're going to try it tomorrow. And next thing you know, all my parents have, that on their app, and we're on their device and we're using that the next day. But wow. Yes, we need to embrace this, because this generation, I mean, they're going to be building these things. That's true. In 10 years, that's their skill in high school, is going to be building these devices. So if we embrace it, and they're going to do it, and they're going to rise to my expectations, and they constantly floor me and problem solve and get off the internet and get back on the internet. And I'm like, how are y'all doing this? And then you gotta watch them a little bit, because you're like, what are y'all doing over there? They're creating things, and I'm just like, wow. So yes, I am a kindergarten teacher. They can use devices, they can do it by themselves, and I am a firsthand witness to that.
That's phenomenal. And we're so thankful for teachers like you that say, hey, try my children. I know they can do it. And I know that's always been Ms. Adams' motto. My children can do it. And Mertz Magnet, they do it. So
yes,
I'm glad you're just sharing with us all that you guys are doing. Continue to share with us everything, because it's been so much fun. And I know the kids really appreciate it. Do you have a little message that you want to give them before we end this?
Yes. Oh, to my 19 besties and their wonderful, wonderful parents and guardians. Goodness gracious. I miss y'all all so much, but y'all are working so wonderfully at home. And I cannot wait to see y'all and squeeze y'all very, very soon, I hope. So thank you so much.
Thank you. I really appreciate you taking time out to talk to us.
Oh, no problem. I appreciate it, Ms. McNeil. Thank you.
Thanks. Stay safe.